and that boat flip, and all you hear is Sid say, "Say the boat, guys. Don't worry about me. Say the boat, guys." And what's crazy because we grew up with Rikishi kids.
Oh yeah.
Which is
the Usos.
Josh and Jonathan.
Yeah.
The Usos.
The Usos.
And they played at West Alabama. Which in that I was raised with them.
Yeah.
And Joe and Awaya, which is Roman Reigns. I think it's Roman Reigns they call him. And they're all cousins. They're all they all grew up in the same household, man. They used to have a wrestling ring in the front of their front yard.
It's so crazy.
And it used to be crazy. And so Brett, he played with Josh and Jonathan and Joe. Yeah. Which is Raymond Roman and Uso twins. Like they all grew up together. And they also played at West Alabama together too. Yeah. Because Brett played there too. So and it's a crazy thing when I'm the rent on both sides, right? Yeah. Because my kids is Rikishi's. Yeah. They'll be his great nieces and nephews. Yeah. And so my kid's mom is Rikishi's older sister.
Well, maybe we can get a tag team next year at WrestleMania. You and Mark Ingram versus the Usos. What? You think we can pull that off?
Man, listen, they can have that. They used to be rough when we was younger, man. And everywhere we went, we had to get into it with somebody because they wanted to try because they was Rikishi kids. Yeah. So I grew up with them and Umaga, and now Jacob.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, he's a beast.
Man, me and Jacob always battled. He was a freshman when I was a freshman. We was the only freshman starting on varsity. He was at Woodham, which is the same school that Justin Gatlin went to. Yeah. And so, us battling our whole life was crazy. Like he was a freshman starting on varsity, I was a freshman starter, and he was a dog, dude.
Man,
I'm talking about that dude got a motor. Just like he got now. Like people was, they was scared of him. Yeah. They was afraid of him. And he was only a freshman. Like doing that to guys that, was seniors. Yeah. Guys that's, almost 19, 18 years old. Sure. But, just looking at it now, man, it's like full circle, man.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's cool to see too, because he just got his shot with the WWE and he's already killing it, man. He is over with the crowd. So it's good to see, man. I like all of that. And of course, the Usos being from West Alabama, I've always represented them. But
and Solo too, like Joe, look, it's so funny watching them, man. It's like little Joseph, like dog, you the head of the bloodline. It was crazy, man, because I like all the videos in social media and stuff like that. Undertaker hit me out of nowhere, like, hey,
oh wow,
I want you to come on. He's a big Bama fan, and stuff like that.
Oh wow,
I would have been like, is this a threat?
Yeah. No, man, that's cool, man. So let me ask you about the Bama days a little bit. This is a comedy podcast. So we got to know, man. What's your best Saban story?
So I got this story. So I thought I was in trouble, right? My last year in school, and this is how I kind of knew I made it, right? And so coach called me around about 9:30, about 10 o'clock, and said, 3, come up to my office right now.
He just calls you by a number?
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah. So, and what's crazy, we all kind of call each other by numbers now.
You fell in line.
So when people, talk about the Upshaw moment, right? When he was saying, touch that thing, folk, he was saying foe, not folk.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because that's how we call each other. Like, like still to this day, like I call Blake right now, be like, "What up, sick?" He was like, 3, what's up?
Yeah.
But he called me about 9:30, about 10, and I'm like, I done left the facility. He's still at the facility, and I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Like I know I ain't, I ain't took no jersey, I ain't took no money for nobody. Like I ain't took no free. I'm like, what the? I'm already blaming Mark and Julio, and they in the lead right now. You know what I'm saying? And so, man, I'm
searching for an alibi.
Yeah, I'm pulling up. Man, I get to the facility. It's only him and Sid in there, and they like in this dark. They at his office and it's dark in there, and the lights kind of shining like on Coach Saban. It's like some mafia grandfathers type stuff, like Godfather type stuff, right? And Coach Saban, this is kind of higher than he got the little man syndrome, so it's kind of higher up too, right? So kind of got to step up.
Yes, a booster seat behind the desk.
Yeah. So, Coach, you see this? We already talked about this, so you already know. And he called me in there. He said, 3, come here. And he hit that button. This is when the clicker, he had that button, and this just had came out. And so nobody was there in the door shut behind me. I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on, right? And
so much pageantry.
Yeah, he said, come here. I go up to him, and I'm telling y'all, man, it was dark, and it was like this light. So he pull out this piece of paper. He say, how do I get to Pensacola from here? Because Miss Terry dog died, and I'm sleeping on the damn couch. And if I don't get this dog, I'm going to be in trouble. And so my heart was like, oh, gosh, bro.
You got to show Coach how to use Apple Maps.
It just was, it was Google Maps. Yeah. It wasn't no, it might have been it was TomTom, but it wasn't GPS. It wasn't even it was still flip phones at the time. I think he might have had a Razor or something. Like that. It was like BlackBerry time.
He was pulling out MapQuest on you.
But he pulled out the old school map. Like it wasn't even a map quest.
An atlas.
He pulled out the atlas, and I'm like,
man.
In my defense, I'm like, Coach, man, appreciate you, but I'm like, man, listen, don't do this to me no more.
That's awesome.
But I said this to him last year we was talking about it. You're like, you know what? I remember that. I know you do, because you was getting on my tail about you.
You would think the most prolific recruiter of all time would know how to get around the Southeast.
Well, the thing was, he had to go himself, because Cedra was like, Coach, want me to just go for you? That's how he talked.
Yeah.
Coach, want me to just go? Said, if you go, I probably won't make it back as your head coach. Mr. Terry gonna get in my tail. And so it was funny because Coach, he had to drive down there, and then they didn't even get the dogs. They went and got some different dogs, but he had to go down there and take her to Pensacola and go see these two boxers, because his boxer had just passed.
Man.
And he had to, go be husband saving.
Yeah.
Because if not, husband saving going to stay on that dang couch.
Yeah, that's an awesome story.
He's going to be, getting cussed out.
It's funny, too, that he has to stay on the couch and not one of his probably 10 guest rooms he has.
Yeah, it was crazy because Saban got a house, and he don't even come on the other side of the house. Like, I used to be in Coach's house all the time, and he wouldn't even know it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so one day he come in there like, 3. What you doing? I'm like, Coach, what you doing here?
That's
my
awesome.
house. Coach, this is my side of your house. Coach, what you doing?
This is what you get for having something that's 50,000 square feet.
You don't come on this side of the house, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's so many stories that I got about Bama. I don't know if they ever told you about a story they flipped a boat.
No.
Like a canoe trip or something?
Oh, no, the big speedboat, Coach.
Okay. Flipped a speedboat?
Well, what happened was Coach had went inside. I think Miss Terry called him in. He had to go do something. So Cedric is not driving the boat. So he's making these waves, and he done went back over one of these waves that he's making.
Yeah, y'all are having a real Miami Vice moment, dude.
Oh, man. And that boat flipped, and all you hear is Cedric say, "Say the boat, guys. Don't worry about me. Say the boat, guys." And so you got guys that flew up in the air. I think Petey Smith, his drawers and came off, his shorts and came off. So he in the float with his tail all out, trying to keep his clothes on and stuff like that, trying to find his clothes. He couldn't find his shorts.
Damn.
And man, we was out there scared, man, Coach Saban finna get in our tail. And so, man, it was one of them stories man, don't ever let Coach know this. But I guess he found out about it. But he was just making sure that we was okay. But to hear Sid say the boat, guys. Don't worry about me. Just say the boat.
Well, it's amazing because you're all kids at the time, right?
Yeah.
So you're all growing up in real time around each other, and what you don't know is you're going to have these stories forever. You're going to tell your kids these stories, your grandkids, all of that.
That would have been a hell of a way to lose a starter for the season, though.
Right?
Speedboat accident takes out our offensive lineman.
Yeah. Man. Well, we'll just replace him with a 5-star.
Yeah. But it's funny you say that, because I tell people all the time, a lot of our second string guys were better than our starters. That's how Bama kept guys hungry.
Mm-hmm.
He made you waste your time. He made you play your time. When you was done, somebody else was gonna be just as good as you, if not better. That was gonna be in that position.
I think a shining example of that's Derrick Henry, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even he comes in against Oklahoma, tears it up. And I think he didn't play again that much that next season. Mm-hmm. It was the following season where he breaks out for 2,000 yards. And that's just amazing, man, that hopefully Coach DeBoer can kind of keep that train rolling of, always having developing talent behind the starters. What do you think about Coach DeBoer? Have you had a chance to meet him?
I'll tell you what, man, I done met him, and we talked for about 3 hours one day. And I'm talking about great guy. But I tell you what, we got to win.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't win, it's almost a lose-lose for coach, right?
Yeah.
And I like coach because if he win, they're gonna say, oh, he won with everything Nick left him.
Yeah.
If he lose, he might not coach again in the SEC. You know?
Yeah.
And it's sad to say that, but that's what happened when you come to a place like the University of Alabama, right? That's the megas of all megas. And so for me, man, I think he's gonna do fine, man, because Coach Saban's still around. You know what I mean? He ain't going too far, but at the same time, like, he putting this spill on, he putting this spice on it, man. We just waiting to see the product, man, on game day. You know, he's a genius when it comes to that offensive mind, too.
Yeah.
And so what he did at Washington was amazing, right? You know, one thing I tell these guys, right, this ain't Washington. This ain't, you know, this is SEC, but this is Alabama. So everybody playing their national championship against you every weekend.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about being in Alabama.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, we was going to get their best punch, no matter what, especially that first half, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the first half could always kind of be, you know, emotional, especially when you come to the SEC games or somebody who's trying to, you know, knock us off, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that second half is when you take that wheel away from them.
Yeah.
And so you nervous notice, like, have you ever, like, if you notice guys like we played Virginia Tech first game of the season, they had Tyrod Taylor, and they had the, you know, they was boosted up and everybody was talking about them, and we go in and beat them first game of the season, and they're not the same team.
Yeah.
Like, anybody that we kind of played as, you know, supposed to be that team.
Yeah, yeah.
We take their wheel.
Yeah.
And we take that wheel, man. We take that wheel back in the summer. Like,
Yeah.
our summer workouts, bro, was crazy.
I can imagine. In that Alabama heat and humidity. I mean, man, you can feel it outside right now.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm out there coaching now, and I be feeling on the back of my ankles like, man, I didn't feel like this when I was playing. Like, what's going on?
So, you got any hot takes or predictions for Bama this year?
Man, I think we definitely go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
For real, man, with what they got, man, I could see us winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I say that not to be biased, but I'm just talking about the whole breakdown and what they did have come back and what they did add.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I've heard great stories about the kid Ryan Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard tremendous stories about, you know, the safety they got Jalen down there.
Yeah.
On the DB they got Jalen because he can play anywhere. Right?
Yeah.
Man, those young cats are out there trying to play this year.
Yeah.
And they pushing these older guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like, you know, Caleb, man, you know, he's 6'5" receiver.
Yeah.
Snatching everything, and he got good speed on him, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm proud of these guys, man. And I think these guys, you know, they got a deal to where it's like it's going to make their mindset for the rest of their career, because when you lose a guy like Nick Saban and everything that he brings to the table with his coaching staff, you know, how he ran a program, you know, the trainers, all of that. Like, Nick don't just lose players, right?
Yeah.
He lose coaches every year.
Mm-hmm.
That man lose athletic trainers every year.
Yeah.
He lose doggone equipment guys every year.
Yeah.
Like, they're going
Yeah.
somewhere and they're going to get head jobs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I was with the Colts, and then we had an intern down there from Alabama, and he went up to the Bears for a weekend, and they gave him the job just because he was at Alabama.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you get that brand, and man, and that brand labels you forever. And that goes on. I tell people this all the time. It's almost better than, or I ain't gonna say better, but it's almost like having a Harvard or Yale degree.
Yeah, yeah.
When you got that stamp on you. For real.
The game has changed so much from everyone's perspective. Like, sometimes I'll watch old Ed Reed and Ray Lewis highlights, and you'll see like the comments being like, "Oh, it's good that the rules have changed. This is so barbaric." And in my head, I'm like, this was happening to me in Demopolis, Alabama in 2004. You know, I can't do long division now.
Yeah. That is funny when you get those high school matchups. Like,
you get
watching your high school matchups, y'all get up against a team you just super OP.
Flashback to getting ear-holed by a 17-year-old who's lying on his birth certificate, you know, to play JV.
Well, you played with Marquise Mays, right?
Yeah.
Man, that guy, I think they had him playing quarterback in high school. And we were playing against, I think he had like 600 total yards and 5 touchdowns. And man, we couldn't do anything, man. Yeah. We were a basketball school. We were 1-9 and 1-9 my last 2 years in high school. So like getting up somebody against y'all, like, man, you would have rushed for 750 yards against us.
Well, the crazy is, you know, Mays is one of the best athletes I've ever seen.
He is amazing, man.
I'm talking about, man, he used to be in a wreck, like dunking underneath his legs, and I'm talking about all crazy stuff, right? And go down there, and him and Rolando, man, go play 6-7 games in a row because they wouldn't lose.
Yeah,
like, they used to stay on the court.
Yeah,
and so it was like one time, man, I was trying my hardest to beat Ro them, and man, listen, Ro was a different basketball player. He's just a different athlete, right?
Different, man.
And only how I beat him one time. Then the other time I just started joining him because you can't beat him, you might as well join him.
yeah.
But we was always in the gym, man. And so, but like Marquise Mays was a different beast, man. And still, I mean, like Marquise, he gonna talk his mess, and he was gonna bag it up.
Yeah.
Man, I can remember being in the games and guys from different teams. Man, get your boy. I'm like, nah, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I ain't getting nothing. He whooping you. He gonna keep whooping you.
Yeah. Kyle took me to he told me it was gonna be a friendly pickup basketball game. What he didn't tell me, it was all guys that he played high school and college with, and it was gonna be full court. And not to brag or anything, I get the most steals, the fewest points. You know, I was doing all right. Missed all of my threes.
That was the first time I'd ever played with RJ. I think he was surprised that I could actually play.
Oh yeah, it was amazing to watch Kyle just shoot a three and like casually jog back. I'm like, you're cool. You're cool.
Well, that was a question I was going to ask you though, man. Who is the best smack talker you played with?
Oh man, that's tough, man.
So many good ones.
Yeah, man. Mays go with it.
Yeah.
And I played with Ryan Mallett when I was with Baltimore. Ryan Mallett talked mess.
Oh yeah, I remember that at Arkansas.
He go off. Like,
yeah.
Ryan don't care who it is. Ryan talk that talk.
Yeah.
That's such a weird like psychological ploy to be playing someone and they're like, yeah, I liked that. I'm like, what's wrong with you?
yeah.
The people talk the most smack is really quarterbacks. Right?
Oh yeah.
If you pay attention, like Phillip Rivers,
man.
talk cash money.
yeah.
I'm talking about cash. I'm talking about be ready to have everybody out there fighting. Yeah. Ike Taylor, I played against Ike Taylor. He talk a lot of mess. If he get a pinch of him, he go, I got me some more FaceTime. You didn't even make the tap.
I look pretty on TV. Yes, you do.
Well, I'm sure you had one of the best runs in college football history. I think you already know what I'm talking about. On the road at Ole Miss. Can you walk us through that one a little bit? What was that like for you, just from your perspective?
Well, so that day was my daughter's birthday.
Oh wow!
And she turned 5, and I said, "Baby, what you want for your birthday?" She said, "I want 5 touchdowns."
That's why.
That's why. She said, "Yeah, I want 5 touchdowns." I said, "All right, I got you." And my aunt had just passed, and I was playing with a different chip. Like I wasn't gonna be denied type attitude. Well, the play, it was a power play, and I really like when people look at that play, right? Because we was talking about it in meetings the other day in the running back meeting because I'm trying to teach them how to run power, but I cut it backside.
Yeah,
and, that's the number one rule: don't cut power backside.
yeah.
And so that's really the worst play to show somebody that you're trying to teach how to run power and keep it play side.
Yeah.
And so the play had happened early in the game to where he was cheating. Mm-hmm. Like he knew. He watched film. He knew when we was running power. And so every time we ran it the first time, I seen him creeping and cheating in. And so when he came, he took my legs out. So I get on the phone with Burns the next drive. Well, when we get off the field, I say, "Man, coach, he's cheating. If he cheat again, I'm gonna use my back cut." Coach Burns said, "If you do it, your block going, so you better get out of there. You better score." Like that, right?
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, sir." So we come back to the play, and I see I said, "Coach, I got him." And I'm talking to myself at the time, right? Because I'm on the field.
Yeah.
Coach, I got him. And so he comes. I shake him in the backfield.
Yes.
I go to the left. Then, I slow down and kind of let my block get in front of me. I reverse field again. And what happened was, man, when I'm reversing field, so Marquise Mays and I want to say Dwight Andrew, they all came and got in front of me, whatever, slowed down and let them get in front of me. Offensive line still trailing, like they're trying to, and that was the difference. Like we got guys that was downfield, like really blocking.
Yeah.
Complete receivers, complete offensive line, like they wasn't giving up.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of knew, like, when I always tell them, like, if I got the ball, just block until y'all see me go down. Like, if y'all don't see me go down, do not stop blocking.
Yeah.
And so we're going, going up the sideline now. And I decide I'm going to because in my head I'm like, man, I just gotta get in the zone. I gotta get in the zone. I knew this was gonna be my last run.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm for the reverse field again. So that's what happened. Like I was going to reverse field again, and all those guys that was in front, like the safeties and stuff, like they turned to go back because they felt I was going to reverse field again.
Yeah.
And so when they turned, it was like a big hole right there. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You found
And
daylight.
So and I just hit that little move on Buddy, which is to me it was one of the slowest jukes ever, and I was tired as hell too, right?
Yeah.
And I just got him again, man, and it was like, well, shoot, they go open sesame right there. I'm gonna walk through this end zone.
Man, they talk about Heisman moments. That to me, man, I was like, and of course I'm biased. I'm a Bama fan.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I don't know how you don't give it to him after that. That was such an amazing run.
He's been waiting to ask you about that all day. When he asked you about that, I saw you turn from Trent Richardson to TR like that.
He's back, man.
You went from Mr. Richardson to number 3 very quickly.
Yeah.
So what year you went? What was your first year with the Browns?
2012.
2012. And you won Rookie of the Year, right?
I supposed to want Ricky.
Yeah.
I think I had 1,200. I think it was like 1,400 altogether.
Yeah.
Like it was something crazy.
And so that's rookie year, and then going into your second year in the league, that's where the coaching change happened, right?
Yeah. Then I got traded.
Yep.
And so it was like crazy for me because like, man, I know I'm the best player on the field. Like, how am I getting traded?
Yeah.
But if you're not their guy in their system, especially when they bring the new guys in, they gonna get rid of you.
Yeah.
And to me, it took the game away from me. Like I didn't want to be around football. I didn't want to look at football. Like unless it was Alabama playing, like I didn't watch ESPN.
Yeah.
Because I was playing the game because I loved the game.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was. It's hard to love something because eventually you'll hate it. You know, it's just the truth. It's the other side of that emotion.
It's almost like a marriage, right?
Right.
If your wife cheat on you, like for a man's perspective, you're not gonna be the same. Like you're gonna just do enough just to. All right.
And that's only going to hurt you if you cared.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
And I was at a place at Bama and in high school where it was family. Like, I've learned in my wise or older days that when they say faith, family, football, they mean faith in that building, faith in them.
Yeah.
Around there. Family is them around there. I ain't talking about nobody outside. I ain't talking about your kids. They ain't talking about your mama. No, we're your family.
Yeah.
And football lies with us too.
Yeah.
So when people be like, oh, we faith family, that's what they mean.
Yeah.
Like that's the real definition of it. Ain't nothing you do outside of here is everything you do right here. And I didn't, as a young man who played the game so long for love, it was just it became a business to me, and it hindered me of wanting to get to the next level because it wasn't even a thought for me to even play football.
Yeah.
Like it took and it just took all the love away from you for football, bro. Like it was just different. And like by the time I snapped out of it and learned the business, like it was like, oh no, it's too late now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you go to Bama, they put a stigma on you that you're supposed to be a 5-year vet when you come in.
Yeah.
And so it's a good thing to go to Bama, and it's a curse too at the same time because they expect you to be, to change this program around right now.
Yeah. Well, too, man. Not to talk crap about Cleveland, but it was a little bit of a cursed franchise there for a while too, man. But well, let me ask about Andrew Luck. Did y'all have a good relationship when you went to the Colts?
Me and Andrew was cool, man. But I say this though. I like being in Cleveland more than I like being in Indiana.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and there's no knock on Andrew, but we passed the ball 55 times a game. That's what we was averaging.
Yeah.
So that means sometimes we was passing the ball 60, 65 times a game.
Yeah.
Right? And we was only averaging 5 carries a game.
Yeah.
5 runs.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, man, like I don't have a place here, And I was in year 3, still asking myself, like why am I here? Like why am I in Indianapolis? Like I'm a straight blocker. I'm an extra lineman for real.
Yeah.
And which I'm a team player, but at the same time, like how can I grow in the system that we only averaging running the ball 5 times a game, and like I'm in the middle of a play on the goal line, and I'm fit to get ready to walk in the end zone, and Andrew pulled the ball and say, "I'm sorry, T. Rich."
Yeah.
And it's like it's coming from above.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, like
that's crazy, and especially because like if you're getting 15 carries, 20 carries a game, that's opening up the passing game, man. Like especially with Andrew Luck being able to come play action, roll out. Like I don't know, man. People overcomplicate things.
Well, it's crazy because I like I said, I don't put nothing on Andrew. Like they went and hired Andrew Luck, offense coordinator from Stanford.
Yeah.
So that's all you know.
Yeah.
Like from the office coordinator, like man, when he told me that, like
those are very deep ties.
Yeah. Like that's all you know, and like and he told me that, like man, it's above my pay grade. I can't really. I'm just going off what they tell me and what I do know, you know.
Yeah.
And then it'd be situations to where like man, Andrew. I ain't gonna say it's Andrew's fault, but we'll go get down 14-0.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the first quarter, and now everything is, 2-minute offense or hurry up or, we got to pass the ball, we got to come back type stuff. And it'd be like, we really don't have a chance to run the ball.
Well, that's why I always liked how the Titans used Henry because, man, they would do the opposite. They get up 10, they ain't throwing the ball no more. Yeah. And they, give him 20 carries. How do you think he's going to do with Lamar?
I think he'll be good with Lamar.
He's the next Frank Gore, dude. He's going to be there when he's 40.
He'll be in the league for a while because now, right? Like if I was playing right now, I'd play for another 5 years.
Yeah.
Because the linebackers are smaller, the cornerbacks are getting skinnier, and they was already, not as big. But it's a 7-on-7 league, so you got guys who's not wanting to tackle.
Yeah.
And so you look at Derek, like once he gets to the second level, who's trying to hit him?
Yeah. So what you're saying is I have a chance to make it in the NFL. That's what you're saying.
As a kicker.
You're in the pod.
Yeah, I gotta get, man. We needed you last year with my Dolphins, man. We can't. We get to that cold weather, man. We have no. Our guys are more. Raheem and Devon Achane, they're more shifty, really good out of the backfield, but we needed somebody in that negative 20 degree against the Chiefs to just pound the rock, man.
Yeah, it's like Miami missing one thing, right? Like, what is it? Because they're close, right? Mm-hmm. They're easily a top 4, top 5 team in the NFL. Yeah. But when you get to the playoffs, like what's gonna be the factor of, what's gonna be the switch of I'm taking this to the next level because this is what I do.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think they have that just yet. I think they're developing it. And, I think they got a great coach, man. Young guy. He gets it. He's a player's guy. And then you got a guy like Tua, man. That, now he's a vet in the game, right? You got Tyreek down there. You got Waddle down there. Like, they got a fantastic team, especially on the offensive side, and defense is not bad either, right?
Yeah.
But it's something that they're missing, man, and they just got to keep stacking, man. And I think that they can pull it out.
Yeah.
And I know they can go deep in the playoffs, man, but you got a guy down there that's wearing that red and in that Kansas City uniform, that quarterback they got, man, he's something different, man.
Yeah. A behind the back pass. I mean, are you a part of the Globetrotters? What's going on right now?
Okay.
So my question for y'all, like, how is it when y'all out there on the stage?
Well, I can tell you from my perspective, man, and for me, it's always been, I don't get stage fright because it's kind of like you're talking about when you get down to the goal line, you're almost not even in your own body anymore. You're just, I don't want to say autopilot because I don't think that really can describe it good. But
like you
just own.
Like
own. You're not noticing the crowd. It's like I did the Stardome this past weekend in Hoover. It's a 450 seat comedy club, theater style. You walk out there, man, and when you're really in the zone, it almost feels like you just have this protective bubble. Like the crowds, I tell him all the time, I would rather perform in front of 1,000 people than 5 people. Because when it's 5 people, it's just more real. Yeah. Like it's more intimate. But, there's just something about being up there in front of a big crowd and your first joke hitting and you're getting that laugh that it fuels you and you get comfortable. So that's me.
Do y'all hear that? Like the laugh? Like, do y'all hear that part of it? Because like when I'm in the game, like, people be like, man, it's loud out there and they don't like playing away because of the crowd. I don't hear none of that.
Yeah.
Like my focus is so much on like knowing what I got, my assignment, knowing who I'm blocking, trying to hit a snap count. If I can't hit a snap count, like I'm looking at the ball.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking at on my quarterback because I'm usually beside my quarterback, right? And so my focus be like, I don't hear all the, everybody talking mess to me or like I don't hear none of that.
Yeah. No, it's very much like that. When you say like you're up there and you don't notice the only time, and this happened this weekend, is when you get a heckler. because then it just breaks your flow, breaks your concentration. We do a pretty good job, and RJ is a very talented comic, and he's helped me a lot get going too. When you're in that rhythm, to the audience, they don't know everything that goes into it. They're writing, you have your set, like certain jokes are going in this order, but then you'll have some asshole who's drunk at the start who just starts blurting stuff out, and that's fine. Like people, I kind of give them a break because people want to be a part of a show. They want to be but they don't realize that they're one person and they're running it for the other 400 people in the crowd. Yeah. But what's your experience? What do you think?
I'm always reasonably nervous before I go up. Not like scared, but you don't want to not care either, because if you do that, then the audience can see it, that you're kind of being cavalier and that you don't really care about their time or your time. You're just kind of wasting everybody's up there. So I think the reasonable nervousness in me makes me realize that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And people will say, oh, RJ's been doing stand-up comedy since he was 23. I'm like, well, I finally got into clubs when I was like 28. You know, like it took me a while to get out of like bars and stuff. And, you kind of learn it the wrong way there. And then you figure out how to unlearn some of the things you taught yourself over time. But like, I feel like I've been doing stand-up since I was like 6 years old. It's like if I can get a teacher to kick me out of the classroom right now, it's like, I killed. Good night.
Well, stand to go. You ever gonna get on stage, man? Come to a guest spot with us.
Man, listen, I can get up there. We can crack jokes on each other.
Yeah.
I'll be your target.
So tell me this. Top 3 from both of y'all. Let's go top 3. Well, I say top 5. We ain't gotta go top 5, but top 3 comments.
You go first, RJ.
The first comic that I liked a lot and understood, where I could like receive the content and actually digest it the way that it was supposed to be digested, is probably Bill Hicks, and then Dave Chappelle, and then I don't know, like I saw a lot of Daniel Tosh before he had that show, before he was on Comedy Central. Yeah. Saw a lot of George Carlin when I was younger, and I feel like when I was watching those things when I was younger, before I was like 13 and 14, I didn't understand what was going on. But like my dad and my mom would go to sleep, and I was like watching HBO at night, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. And I didn't know I was learning habits at the time. So definitely some version of those two, but the 3 is always interchangeable.
Yeah. For me, it's Norm Macdonald. He was on SNL in the 90s. He's the one who did the ESPYs. And he had that great, I think it was Charles Woodson had just won the Heisman. And he said, Charles Woodson won the Heisman. That's something they'll never be able to take away from you, unless you kill your wife and a waiter. And he's talking about OJ, and man, it just flattened the crowd. So
just silence.
It's just so funny. And so Norm Macdonald, I got to go Chappelle too. I think he changed the game. Yeah. And 3 for me, man, in the 90s comics are what speak to me. I think comedy's kind of gotten a little saturated and it's not as good as it used to be. But those Chris Rock in the 90s, man, he was an absolute killer. But I got to say, my favorite comedy special of all time was The Kings of Comedy. Yeah. I feel like everybody growing up had that DVD with Cedric the Entertainer, Bernie Mac, Steve Harvey. I mean, dude, I watched that so many times. Bernie Mac was so funny on that freaking comedy special.
I'm always discovering old comics that I didn't pay attention to when I was a teenager. Like I found an old Red Fox tape that someone uploaded to YouTube, and I was like, man, I would have cried laughing at this when I was 15, but I didn't discover it till I was in my late 20s.
You got any comics you rock? Who's your top 3?
I love Jamie Foxx growing up, man.
Oh yeah.
Like Jamie Foxx, like his whole, with him doing R&B, with him being able to write, with him being able to do movies, act, like
him being amazing at everything.
It's so crazy because his acting career, like people don't realize how good he is at writing songs, right? His acting career. Yeah. And we get, and we get tied up in how much he's a great actor to like. We forget, like, man, the comedy that he did, right? The specials that he did was killer. Yeah. Like you get lost in Ray, like that was actually Ray. Yeah. Like he brung his whole character out for him. Like he did that times 20, right? Yeah. He was the perfect guy.
He just got cast as Spawn too. And we was talking to some buddies about it, and they're like, I just don't know if I see Jamie Foxx. I'm like, dude, any role you give Jamie Foxx, he's going to rock. Like to me, he's got to be a top 5 actor in the last 30, 40 years.
Let's get a sequel to Endgame.
And I might be biased, right? Because I kind of know him personally, but man, he did what he did for me for my birthday, my rookie year. Man, I was out in L.A. and my jeweler Jaime, which was one of the best jewelers out there in the world, for Jason's of Beverly Hills, right? And he hooked me up with him, and I was just telling him like I was a big fan, you know, I always wanted to meet him. Man, Jamie had about 35 girls at the table.
Only 35?
And like that took like 20 minutes. Like, you know, like my birthday was 20 minutes. He had like 30, and all of them had to come by and say happy birthday to me.
Yeah.
Everybody sung it. Like Jamie was just different. Like, but he was nice as hell. Like, like for him to do that, take the time to do that type of stuff. And for every one of my birthdays, like he texted me, happy birthday, little bro.
Yeah.
You know, so when all the stuff was happening to him, man, like that was scary for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was one of my, like, think about any given Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Him, Al Pacino, arguing in the kitchen.
Him and LL Cool J going at it. Like, and to know that, like, them scenes was really real because they was into it for real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they didn't have any real team names, because it was kind of a more honest, edgy depiction of professional football at the time, you know?
Man, but that stuff goes on, like, especially underneath that pal. Like, man, I done broke fingers underneath that pal.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
I got my nuts pierced. I done got all types of man, that stuff was real, man. Like, underneath the pile, and one of my teammates trying to get somebody off me, and he was down there welling them, wham, and it's on film. I'm like, oh, shit.
Was that at Bama or was that in NFL?
In high school.
Yeah, high school. That was high school. I could tell. If someone's doing that, they're taking out their daddy issues on you. That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In high school, he was whooping his tail.
Man.
But I had to say, you know, it's tough, man, because you can't forget about Eddie Murphy.
Oh, no.
And I'm a real big Mike Epps fan, man.
Yeah.
I love Mike Epps.
Raw is one of my favorite specials. Yeah.
And a lot of people don't like Cat Williams, man, but Cat Williams is a genius.
Yeah.
People hate the truth. Oh no.
I like Cat, man.
Well, maybe next time Mike Epps is at the Stardome, talk to Bruce, get you down there.
Yeah.
You know, get you Have you been down there to that comedy club in Hoover?
So I do a lot of stuff with Jermaine Funny. He's one of my favorite comics too, Jermaine Funny.
Oh yeah.
I do a lot of stuff with him, man.
Yeah.
He's been a big bro to me. When learning the business side of stuff, man, he's on point with everything. Mm-hmm. But I've been knowing Bruce for a while now, man, and I come down there all the time and go do stuff with Ricky Smiley too. Man.
Oh yeah, Ricky Smiley's great, man.
He's a real good mentor to me too, man. And I didn't realize how big of a Bama fan he was until I got out, until I got to the league, man. And I had seen him, and I think it might have been Dre at a game.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which is crazy that you got Dr. Dre in the car with you at a Bama game.
I was about to say, dude, all your mentors are comedians. We got to get you better people around you.
Were you on the team, the big LSU Bama game where all the celebrities were there?
I was on that team.
Lil Wayne in the audience.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's
LeBron was there.
Yeah.
That was the rematch year. Where you scored the only touchdown in 2 games.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't realize too, right? That year I only played 2 full whole games, and that was both of the LSU games.
Oh, really?
So when it came to the fourth quarter, or I might play like a series of the third quarter.
Yeah.
Or play the third quarter and don't play the fourth quarter because we was whooping teams. And I'm not saying we was blowing them out, but we had other backs too, right?
Yeah,
we had Eddie, and we had Big Justin Fowler. We had Blake was a running back at the time.
Yeah.
Speaking of that Ole Miss game, I don't know if y'all remember, Blake had broke a 60-yard run on that. And I tell this all the time, and Blake know this. Broke a 60-yard run. It's the pylon right here, and somebody else right here. This fool done jumped out of bounds. And so Coach Saban is out there wearing him out. God damn, Blake, I put you in to score. You can't even score. It's right there. Just die for the day.
That's a solid impression.
That's great. Hey, man, you might have a career in stand-up comedy. You pull that out. Jeez, that's nice.
I'm pretty straight on voice impression.
Yeah,
Man.
so just 20 minutes of Nick Saban material off the top.
That damn Nick, man, was crazy, man. I remember we lost to Cam now, and he had to go host that game. He came in,
Just a vein growing from ear to ear.
Yeah. So when you first meet him, man, I thought he was gonna be like 6 foot.
Yeah.
6 foot, 6'1" or something. Come up in this room, this little big guy, and I'm gonna look like this is what everybody's scared of.
Yeah. Then you found the reason why.
Yeah. You find a reason why. Like that man, powerful man. If he would have told us slap Obama was in that White House, we would have slapped the hell out of him. That man, he different, man.
What? Who was the best opponent you ever played against in college?
Bama. Like that defense, man.
Oh, Bama.
Yeah.
Practice.
Practice. Like it made the game so easy for me, man. Yeah. Like besides Bama, like, cause you gotta think about it, man. My defense in the middle, right? The kings of kings was Orlando McClain.
Yeah.
Orlando McClain. You had Dante Hato. You had Courtney Upshaw. You had Kareem Jackson. You had Terrence Cody. You had Marcel Dares.
Yeah.
You had Draco Patrick. You had Marquise Johnson. You had Mark Barron. You had D. Millender. You had C.J. Mosley, Nico Johnson. Like, my defense was crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Like, it was nothing but dogs. So, the best defense I probably played against was, besides us, was that Auburn defense my sophomore year when they had Nick Fairley.
Fairley, yeah.
Like, them guys, like, they ran the blitz one time, and everybody was just walking around.
Yeah.
Like, our offensive line didn't know who to block. And I'm back there trying to block 3 people, and Greg got smacked. Boy, this is going to be a long day.
Yeah.
I had a basketball game that day. I forget who we were playing. It was at home, but we had started, I think it was going to the halftime. Y'all were up, right?
Yeah, 24-3, I think.
Because I remember I was like, okay, man, go play my game. I'm good. I was watching it on a laptop. I think we got beat by about 40. So I'm already depressed, pissed off, come in, and they had that freaking comeback on y'all, man. That was awful.
Yeah. And it was so crazy because the defense won that game. That defense was tough.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a safety, man, who hit me, and I think it was a JUCO safety. He
Yeah.
hit me underneath my shoulder pads. Like, he got underneath my pads. And it hit me so hard to where it was like I had to get up and talk mess to him. Like, oh, you ain't do punk ass. So I get back to the huddle. It's me and Julio. And Julio was beside me. So I'm like, oh, shit. Like, he's hard. And I was like, hell yeah, he did.
Man, that's awesome, man. I haven't met Julio. I need to meet him.
Nah, good dude, man. Quiet, but if you know him, he gonna talk mess, and I can't get him shut up around me.
I hear he's an excellent car salesman.
Great at that, right?
Yeah.
Is he? He's gonna give it one more go this year,
I think, man, Julio don't know how to put that football down.
Man.
Julio, he stay on the move, but he's in good shape, man. Julio,
That's who I wanted my Dolphins to sign, man. Good big old possession receiver.
And I was thinking about that when you said that.
Yeah.
Like, that'll be huge for the Dolphins. And I mean, I don't know if Philly signed him back or not, but
I'm not sure. He came in and fit in right off the bat with them. Yeah. I had very high expectations when he went to the Titans, but at the end of the day, I don't think it was a fit for him.
No, it's not, man. It's the right program that fits you.
Yeah.
Like, beast mode wasn't beast mode without Seattle.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, and that's not knocking nothing on Marshawn, but like, and Marshawn will tell you, and we talk about this all the time, like, your program got to fit you. Like, if I would have been in Seattle, like, I'd still be playing right now.
Yeah.
If I was in Dallas, I'd still be playing right now.
Oh, man. You behind that Dallas.
If I was in Temple, I would still be playing right now. And, like, certain, like, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'll be playing right now.
You look like a Pittsburgh Steeler. Yeah. Like,
I mean, even back in the day when Chicago had Matt Forte there, he was running that thing. Even when Houston had Aaron Foster. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the type of offense that I was used to running.
Yeah.
So, man, it just got to fit you. Like, if it don't fit you, you think about, Derek first couple of years.
Yeah.
Like, it really wasn't, but they got it together. They learned how to fit Derek they fit Derek into their program, and the program was fitting for Derek, right? Yeah. And so when they did that, man, like, it was a different turnaround, man, because they was talking mess about Derek. And Derek, like, we all know Derek ain't no slouch. And, you know, Derek, he is the king, right?
Yeah.
And you think about what Mark, when you went through with New Orleans his first couple of years, right? And even with Saquon these last couple of years, like, they was about to get rid of Saquon, which is what they ended up getting rid of him, but they gave him another contract before they did that. Yeah. But with him getting hurt and stuff like that, and being like they had to bring people in the right program to fit him. Yeah. Because Saquon is a different talent. Yeah. Like, everybody got a talent, man. You just got to fit into the program. The program got to fit for you.
I always say, too, and you mentioned Derek, one of the biggest blunders to me in NFL history. And, hindsight's 2020. But the Cowboys, man, that year they had the number 4 pick. And then I can't remember what they had in the second round. But the way it could have played out, if they didn't take Zeke at 4, they could have picked up Jalen Ramsey and gotten Derrick Henry in the second. And I think they would win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Watch this guy become one of the greatest defensive coordinators ever. watch him do it right before our eyes. That's kind of what happened with Demeco Ryans, like other side of the coin type of thing. He's like such an offensive mind now, but I'm like, he played linebacker.
Yeah.
Guys, and now he has CJ Stroud and he's making all the right moves. And like, how to read a defense from playing against it so often.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing about having a guy like Demeco, like, he played the game.
Yeah.
And he played at a high level, and he was smart. Like, playing against Demeco, like, I really found out, like, why he was in the league for so long.
Yeah.
Like, and I played with him when he was in Philly, right? And he might have been in Houston for a year, and I played against him too. But man, Demeco, you had to know where he was every play.
Yeah.
Like, he was different. Like, even on his older side, like, he was just smarter. He was just way ahead of the game, and he had great energy. Like, he never lost a step.
Yeah.
And so you got a guy like that knows offense because he's played the game for so long, and he's learning the offensive mindset now to where it's like, okay, I get this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me translate this to my defense, because best believe he's still running that defense, right? That's just like what Coach Steele was saying last year. Like, y'all think I'm not a defense coordinator, but I know who we got is the head coach, right? Don't nothing go through without him knowing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, man, Demeco, it was a great choice for Houston, man.
Yeah.
I was hoping that we got him here.
Man,
yeah, that's what I was hoping for.
Me too, man.
Yeah. Even if not the head coach, man, just to be around the program, as a D coordinator or something like that, man. Or, it would be huge to have him back home, coaching.
I bet he would be a hell of a recruiter too.
Negotiations have changed. It's a different sport with what I'm going to talk about, but it's hard to get professional head coaches in college to go to a professional team to coach. They were trying to get what's his name from UConn, the basketball coach over there, to go to the Lakers, and he was like, "No, I think I'm going to stay here. I think I like where I'm at."
People find their passion, man, and helping, and that's what I love about your journey now, is amazing career at Alabama. You come out in the NFL, hot start. It didn't turn out quite how you liked it, but now, man, you have such an opportunity to teach these kids, because Hoover's a factory. Hoover's the Alabama football of high school. So that's really cool, man, that you're going to be able to try to instill what you've learned in those kids and see them grow. And I think that's going to be a whole new rewarding thing for you, man. I'm excited to see you grow in it.
Yeah, and the positive thing about it, right, like, it wasn't like I didn't play at the highest level and I didn't have good turnouts when I was playing. I played at every high level, even when it's Canada or the Alliance, the Spring League. Like, I've always played at a high level, and I've got to learn in different levels, like different concepts, different levels, different, pro styles, right? Like, I just didn't play in the NFL. I played around the world. Yeah. Even when I did my stuff out there in Mexico, helping those guys out, like, everything was different, and then, like, I learned how to adapt. And so to teach these kids the different languages, the different assignments, the different ways to play, this way might not fit them. Okay, let's see how can we relate it to making this guy get to the next level for his full potential. Like, and the good thing is, like, I've got to see, like, cats in the CFL.
Yeah.
Like, if you can play defense in the CFL, at a cornerback or a safety position, you can play anywhere. Yeah. Because anybody got a doggone 10-yard head start, right? Like, man.
But I mean, you understand everything, so when it comes to teaching the kids, you have empathy for them. So you're able to motivate them in a way that some people just aren't going to be able to understand.
Yeah, it's different when you walk it. Like, you've walked the shoes.
Yeah, in a big way, man. I tell these kids, like, so my slogan is, "You are your way out." Yeah. And I tell these kids, like, no matter what, it ain't no mama, it ain't no daddy, it ain't no coach, it ain't no sister, brother. Like, you are your way out. Like, what is your why? Like, why are you doing this? Like, okay, is it for the money? Is it for the girls? Whatever it is it for the fame? Or do you want to change your life? So what a lot of people got to realize too, like especially for my kids, like, I had to make it. Yeah. My kids don't have to make it. Yeah. And so it's a different mindset, and it's a different day and age. Like, Like, we got the kids that's out here, like, cause I've always done stuff in the community, like, and I've been around for a long time, you know, helping out. And it's just like, man, I see kids now that got all the talent that I had to work for.
Yeah.
Naturally, like, they naturally got it, and it's just like, man, like, it's the work ethic.
Yeah.
Like, I know you got this talent.
Yeah.
But how are you going to push and get to the next level to where it's no denying what you got going on?
Well,
like,
they grow up so differently than us. They have these phones in front of their faces. They're kind of bombarded by the external constantly, and like, you're doing this. I do this a lot too because it comes from within. Like, whatever you're gonna unlock and achieve in this life, it's from the internal, not the things outside you.
Yeah,
you know.
No, yeah, willpower, man. It's the strongest thing. It's you always heard it growing up. You know, you can do anything you want to do. And nobody ever really explained what that really meant. And so it became cliche. But it's true, man. Like, I never thought, I remember I've talked about stand-up comedy and I kind of wanted to do it, never knew. And then I just, one day, my wife's like, why don't you take classes at the Stardome? Just see if you like it. And I remember finishing my classes at the Stardome, walking by, they were having a show on the main stage. And I was like, man, if I ever just made it there, I've made it. And because it just seemed so unreal that you couldn't do it. And then a few months later, I'm on that stage, and then me and him are going to New York, and we're performing with, you know, Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Gaffigan, and then your goals have to recalibrate. But you kind of have to learn that from experience, man. That you put your mind to it, and your mind kind of makes your body do the work, you know. So yeah, it's cool to see, man. I'm glad that you're going to be mentoring the youth, and hopefully, man, getting some good talent. Keep going down to Bama from Hoover.
Some state titles, little Friday Night Lights, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man. Listen, what we building over there right now, man, is, I'm telling y'all, in the next 2 years, if we not in that game this year, we'll be in the next year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, he folded his arms again, dude.
Listen, I'm telling you, man, we got some cats right now, they're hungry and they ready to grind.
Yeah.
And their work that is showing. Like, them kids are getting pushed in a different way, and they're happy, and they're getting it. Like, and even the situation that they're in now, like, they're getting it out the bud.
Yeah.
And they're learning how to deal with adversity.
Yeah.
Right? And these kids have been so comfortable for so long, and now to get comfortable with being uncomfortable is the biggest change for them. And so these kids are learning in a different way, and they're being passionate about it. And they all want to succeed, and they want each other to succeed too.
Yeah.
Like, now we got guys butting heads at practice. You know?
Yeah.
Other than saying, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Do y'all play this week?
Yeah, we in Miami this week, man.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That is crazy. A high school team's going to Miami.
Yeah,
we flying out there, man, Thursday. We play Saturday. We come back Sunday, getting ready for Spain Park. Our JV and freshman play Spain Park that Monday.
Okay.
No, one of them schools.
Yeah.
But we play Spain Park at home next week.
Not to knock Spain Park or anything. I don't think they're taking a trip down to South Florida.
That's awesome.